Hello again. So this is the deck that brought us to Platinum last night. I like the concept of the deck, but I'm not really sure it's as consistent as I want it right now. So I'm just gonna have a look at it. First, we're gonna sort out all the removal spells. So I'm not really sure about the consistency of the deck right now. We do have some interesting cards in here. First of all, the token production Urapresk Forge and Gisa the Hellraiser, which do produce some tokens and some threat on the board along during the game. The Calisel Sword did prove its worth yesterday, both with sacrificing the token created by the Forge, even sacrificing Jasper Flint once. So it has proven its worth, and Agatha Soul Cauldron, I am still a big fan of this card. So having said that, I don't think we should take those cards out. That leaves Furnace Rains. It again proved its value yesterday, so I'm thinking about keeping it in. So that makes it a little bit harder for me to figure out what to take out. Virtue of Persistence, I really want to keep that one in. It's a good, decent removal for 2 mana with a little bit of life gain, and late game it does provide us with an ability to bring back cards from the graveyard. The Brotherhood's End is a card that I really like, and Into the Fire as well. Problem is, I only have one Into the Fire. I think that's not enough, so maybe I should take that one out. That gives us 1 card slot. I'm not sure if it's going to make much difference, but I think putting in a third Charming Scoundrel here might improve the odds just a little bit. We are at the moment at a 2.8 mana cost average, and we only have 23 lands, so we can't really cut the lands, and we can't really get any more slots out of that, I think. That leaves us with, at the moment, a deck that I don't really know how to modify if I really want to update it. One option I'm considering, but I don't know if that's a smart move to do, is maybe to cut these 2 removals for an extra Brotherhood's End, giving me an extra slot again, and maybe putting in a 4th Scoundrel. The card draw discard engine works pretty well, so I think that could work. Or maybe, but that would make it a more late game issue, I could perhaps go for a 5 mana sorcery and look at Burn Down the House. It's a pretty late game board removal with 5 damage to each creature and player, but it might be interesting to play this one as well, as it also gives me 3 creatures as an alternative. But I'm not really sure here what the right move is. At 5 mana, I don't really have any sorceries in red that gets me interested. If I go to blue and look at, let's say, 3, 4, 5, Choking Miasma is a nice little board wipe, but again, it's only -2, -2. And we don't have access to green, so the kicker would be useless. We could use some of our uncommons and see if we could maybe use this one and get some extra card draw into the deck. But I'm not really certain here what direction to go. Rush of Dread is a nice card, but I'm not really happy with it on its own. We do have to Beseech the Mirrors, but Bargain requires an artifact or an enchantment or token to get it activated, and I don't really have any decent targets that I really want to go for when I have it, at least not for 4 mana, because Laughing Jasper Flint might be all, but I think for a card like this, you really need something that makes a big impact on the battlefield or on the game. Gig's Command is one that I do like, but again at 5 mana, I think it might be a little bit at the higher range of cards right now. So to be quite honest, I'm a little bit stuck here, so all advice is welcome. And I'm not really sure how far this deck is going to take us. I think at the moment, this might be the right call. Although, maybe do this one instead. I think having the extra card draw might be the good choice here. So let's see what this does tonight. And meanwhile, I'm looking at how we can improve our deck. And then here we're seeing 500 gold. I can still change my quest today. Black and green, we are playing black and red, so we do have one of these colors. But considering that I want to get some gold, let's see if we can't get a 750 again. Nope. So this is white and green. So for questing, we would probably have to go for another deck, which would be Journey Deck 6. But I'm not sure Journey Deck 6 would be a good choice for playing right now. Unless, of course, let's see if we can't improve the removal options in this deck a little bit. So right now we have only 4 removals, but I do believe that we have some interesting instances that we can look at, low cost instant spells. So let's see what we've got. Maybe we can find something here, and then maybe we can play a little bit of Platinum with this deck today. We don't have any mounts in here, so Steer Clear isn't a good option. Cosmium Blast, nope. There are a lot of decent removal cards in the game at the moment, and I'm actually looking at what options we have here. And to be honest, I only have one of these, but still it's good enough to play. And 2 of these. And then let's take out one of these each. And maybe let's take out another Botanical Brawler. So I'm cutting a little bit my creatures here for 3 extra removals. The meta right now has a lot of creatures, and if you don't have answers for them, it's gonna hurt you long game. I think unless you can just outplay them and your creatures are faster than theirs. But the problem is my decks aren't that fast. So not having the fast decks, I think I need to compensate using more removal. But I'm not really sure yet. We go first, so one land coming into play tapped is not a huge issue. We do have our colors, we have extra card draws. I think we should take the chance here. See what we can do. Let's start with the plains, and then we have our two colors. 3 land in your opening hand is a really good move. So I think that's a good start. And let's put in Kami. They are playing back, so there's a good chance they can just remove it. But if they don't, and in this case they don't, it does present us with some options. Here we go. 2 enchantments, getting rid of an opponent's creature, and a pretty decent hit of 6 in turn 3 is definitely not a bad thing. Gain 1 life. Luckily, it's not a Death Toucher. So let's play the Spirited Companion first. It boosts our Kami, and we are lucky we're getting an extra land. Let's go for the Botanical Brawler first. It's another creature. It's not extremely powerful, but next turn it could get a boost from the Jukai. And we have the Serra Paragon that we could actually play as well. So that gives us a lot of options here. Preacher's pretty decent card. And here we actually have a very nice situation now. So we're able to play 2 enchantment spells. And then let's just go all out. We're definitely going to lose one of our creatures, probably Kami. There we go. But still, we are clearing the board and we're putting him at 1. It puts us in a serious advantage. We do get the extra card draw. And normally, there we go. We can play a land for the turn, and we get to bring Kami back to our hand. So we're in a pretty good spot here. Our opponent does have a food token, which means he can regain 3 life. We've already seen there's some kind of life gain strategy in his deck. So we're not there yet. But let's see what happens. Okay. That's an interesting strategy. Yeah, that's really nice. Life gain, good synergy. I have to admit, that's a really nice move. I'm gonna go for a Kami here with Calyx. And there he goes. So before I leave the battlefield, there was one thing I wanted to show you. Weaver of Harmony here. In this case, having one green mana available, we could have activated it and we could have boosted, we could have activated Galaxy's ability twice. So that would have meant we could have pumped at least the Weaver as well and the Jukai, and then one of the 3 creatures would have gone through because he could only block 2. And that's pretty much why he left the game. So that was a good start. Simple win. So yesterday we reached Platinum. Let's see how we can grow in Platinum. It's not going to be easy to stay in there, especially with the cards and the decks that we have available. But I'm pretty sure that we can stay in until the end of the season. We might drop out once or twice and then get back in. But I'm hoping mostly that we can save up some gold, get some more booster packs, and then along the way we should be able to. Yeah, let's keep this one. It's a risky move, but we're a little bit slow here. But then when we have the boosters, we should be able to maybe move on and get to somewhere better with our decks. So at the moment, I'm pretty confident that with the cards we have, the decks we have, we can get to Platinum pretty much every season. The trick is going to be going to the next step. So we have a Kami here. We're up against what appears to be a 3-color deck. Yeah, let's play this one first into Jukai, which would boost Kami. And then let's bring in one Reign of Truth. Kami doesn't have Summoning Sickness, so with a little bit of luck, we can hit for 6. There we go. So, Stomper is a really nice card. I think I have 1 copy of it. But seeing as it's about to rotate out, I'm not going to invest any wild cards into this card, even though I do think it's a really nice card. What we can do now is, yeah, let's put an extra Kami on the field, and then with an extra Reigns, reason I'm putting in up Jukai is then I can attack with 2 creatures. I have 5 life gain, and that hurts pretty hard. Even if he had the ability to block, which in this case he couldn't. So everything came through, but there we go. That's another easy win today. So as you can see, you don't really need the overpowered synergy decks with huge amount of rare and mythic cards. You can actually do it with pretty basic cards as well. I'm not going to say these decks are perfect in Platinum, but they should be able to provide you with a consistent positioning in Platinum. I haven't had any problems so far going to Platinum with these kind of decks, but going beyond Platinum I think requires more than I have in cards right now. So my opponent goes first. We have a removal, we have Kami. I'm going to keep because I have my 2 colors. And even though this one comes in to play tapped first turn, second turn I have the mana to play something from my hand. Okay, so blue and black. That means probably some kind of removal and probably some kind of counter as well. I'm still going to take a risk with Kami here. That's the advantage with this card, is that even if he takes it out, there's a pretty good chance later on that we'll be able to bring it back from the graveyard to our hand. At 2 mana, it's worth a try. It's definitely worth the risk. As you can see, we have 2 enchantments here. So if something were to happen to Kami at the beginning of the end step, if a enchantment was put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you can return it to your hand. So now I'm going to try it, but I have a feeling that a counter card is going to show up here. Probably a 3 mana counter. Although he didn't counter that. Alright, then in this case, let's just attack and see what happens. The good news with the situation is now if he does play removal, then the Jukai would go to the graveyard as well, and that would trigger Kami, unless he actually exiles it. So it's to our advantage that they're on the field, both of them, and I'm pretty happy with this board state right now. There's a cycling. Let's just resolve it. So considering the amount of mana we have available, March of the Otherworldly Light is really nice removal. I'm sorry to say I only have 1. But again, rotating out, I'm not going to invest any wild cards in it. Yeah, let's just go to attackers. Just go to my turn. He already knows we have something. We have more than 2 lands, so we can do that. Let's see what happens if we play the second Jukai. Alright, nothing happened so far. Let's attack and see what happens. Alright, so that's where Kami went. But like I said, we still have 2 enchantments on the battlefield, which means that at some point Kami will probably be back in our hands. So right now it looks like we're drawing a little bit too much land, which worries me a little bit. But we can still hit for 4. We are up against Esper, so that's the 3 mana counterspell I was expecting a few minutes ago. As you can see, 1 blue, and then the counter ability was another colorless and blue. That was actually the card that I was thinking about a few turns ago when I say he might counter it with 3 mana. There we go. He destroys this one. There's much we can do there. Yeah, let's exile that one. It's gonna cost me. It's gonna cost me 3 life, but let's do it anyway. We already gained enough life to warrant that, and Kami comes back like expected. We have Kami here. So we're drawing a lot of land, so I think it's a good idea if we activate this one to see if we can't get some land out of the deck. Let's put Kami back in. There is a Virtue coming. As you can see, he's at 5 mana. He just needs 2 more. So we have to keep that one in mind. I'm really hoping to get something more than just land. That one's gonna hurt a little bit. I don't know if he's gonna weaken Kami or if he's gonna mill us. Alright. There we go. So we did get some removal, but he's not playing a creature heavy deck, so let's see what he's gonna play here. I've seen these colors before, playing something like Atraxa, playing something like, here we go. Yeah, let's just attack. He would gain some life, but nice. I wouldn't have minded if he had blocked, to be honest. That would have given him some life, but this is actually a little bit better for us. The early life gain that we had from the Jukais helped us out a lot. Now, if he attacks with Flesh Scorcher, there is a possibility he might be able to counter, not on my watch. Seeing as he still has 3 cards in hand. But we're going to have to see what he does. Oh, there we go. Now he can't counter, which opens the door for this. And yes, we're going to pay the 3 life. We're still up. Here we go. And this really helps us out a lot. So I could have kept the land to bluff, and maybe it would have been a wiser choice. But in this case, I think that we should just play our hand open. He's using his removals right now. That's one. Yeah, that's the other one. He's probably gonna use Jace to weaken Calyx now. Yeah, there we go. But that is fine with me because we still get to hit for 5 here. Or, apologies, for 2. 29. I'm gonna take a risk here. Hit him, not this Jace. Because I can play this one. Pumping. Let's pump this one. End step. Now, without board presence, there's a good chance that we could finish the next game. It depends on what he draws now, so it was a risk not taking on Jace. On the other hand, I didn't have enough power to take him out. The fact that I have the Malamet on the field means he can't play anything in our turn, which really helps us. Let's be honest, that's a huge advantage right now. So he needs to do it either in his own turn or he needs to get rid of it. He already used Jace, so with the artifact here he could mill half our deck, but lucky for us that's not going to be enough. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's half our deck. But we're still in it. I'm just going to block him with 1. And then we have enough power to take him out next turn. So as you can see, this was a solid start to Platinum today. Let's see if our quest is over. If it's not, yes, it is. Perfect. So that's another 500 gold from the quest. We have another pack here. We can have a look at it. Oh, and we're gonna get another rare. This is actually a card I've been looking at in tabletop card game. So when playing the local game shops, this is actually one I've been looking at for Commander, and maybe also for a 60 card deck, but I'm not really 100% sure yet. I see a lot of potential in this one. Prowess 3/3, playing with multicolored cards. It's interesting, especially, and here's actually the card next to it that really makes it shine. Those two together already produce a lot of value. So this would really be a nice synergy, those two cards together. So there is a lot of power and potential in here. This is the first one I have. So maybe later on in the deck building we can come up with something here. But I definitely think this is a good interaction, good synergy to consider in the future. It's still pretty low cost at 3 mana. It's still within the aggro range, so could be a pretty fast deck. The Slick Sequence is an instant, would help deal with the Slick Shot, for example, which only has a toughness of 2. So yeah, I definitely think there's some potential here. Blue and red are also very aggressive colors. Blue a little bit more control, while red the aggression. But combining that in these two cards really is an interesting option for the future. So I think we can test out yesterday's build a little bit more. So this one here, so we have the Slick Sequence already 4 times now. The Undefeated Slick Shot, that's the first one. I don't think I can have a look. Yeah, let's see. Can't remember the name of it, but I think the other one, the other Slick Shot. So I do have a Monastery Swift Spear. We do have Kumano, but Kumano's going to rotate out in about 2 weeks now. And then, let's see, I only have one Felden, so only have one Fugitive Codebreaker. So as you can see, we're missing some of the really good pieces. And then we're already at 3 mana, so that means the red, mono red Slick Shot, that's very popular at the moment, we don't have it. This one, I have 4 of it, but it's going to rotate out again, which is... I'm sorry to see this one go, because it's a really nice card. It offers a lot of potential. Godric is a card that I enjoy, and I do have 3 of it, so I have played him in the past. But again, we don't really have enough red support to really push it the way I want it. This is a card that I think could be an interesting replacement for the Charming Scoundrel. It doesn't have haste, but whenever I commit a crime, I do get a treasure token. Sacrificing 3 treasures, and I would get a 4/4 red scorpion dragon creature with flying with haste. I think this could be an interesting option to play. I do have 2 of him, so maybe... yeah, why not? Why not try him out? Let's take out a Callous Sellsword and a Furnace Rains. Let's see how that works out. Maybe we take the forge to 3. We take out the into the fire. Let's bring that back. Let's try that. Let's see how this works out. I'm actually curious about that. So, when experimenting, I do standard play, but I don't go for the ranked, especially not when I'm not sure about a deck build or the consistency of it. The other decks, I know how they perform. I know what to expect from them. This one, I'm not really certain yet. So let's see what we can come up with here. So just taking free play doesn't influence your ranking. It gives you an opportunity to test your decks, and at the same time, you can still do some questing and stuff. Oof, this is a risky hand. We do have our mana, we do have a removal, we do have a Soul Cauldron and a Furnace, so we could potentially do some damage. Yeah, let's keep it. In Arena, I'd rather keep my mana and some basic removals than starting with a hand with no mana. There we go. We have a lot of removal now. You didn't play anything. It doesn't look like... Yeah, let's just play Soul Cauldron right now. I don't think that could do any harm. Yeah, like I expected, no harm. And let's just deal with this one right now. We don't have a creature to pump, so end the turn right here. There we go. Resolve it. My turn. I don't want him to be able to look at the... Yeah, let's do this first. We're gonna take it over. We're gonna do some... Take some advantage of it. And the moment he casts a spell or something, we're gonna use it. Yeah, there we go. Let's just get rid of this creature. So he does get to look for a land. He puts it into play, which isn't perfect. But we still deal with his creature, and we did a little bit of damage. And we get to look for another land, which actually helps us out as well, because we are now at 6 mana, which is something I really, really like. Because being at 6 mana, we can put in Laughing Jesper Flint, and we have the potential to very soon be able to play the Virtue of Persistence. If he does play a creature now, no, he doesn't, that's fine. We still have a Sheoldred's Edict, which is really nice as well. So if we draw into a land, we get access to both his creatures and mine. He might have some more removal for enchantments, but let's see what he does. My turn. There we go. Yeah, let's just put it down. He might have counter, he might have removal. Worst case scenario, we lose it, but still, we're not in a bad spot. There we go. He removed it. Fine, let's thin our deck a little bit. Assassin's Trophy is a really nice card, but the backfire. Oh, there we go. So, let's get rid of the token. And just for the fun of it, let's take over his clear cutter and let's just hit him with it. Oh yeah, definitely gonna keep that one. And then we end the turn. So thanks to our Furnace Rains that we still have 2, we can actually hit him again next turn. The Furnace itself is also a really nice card. He might have another removal for it. If he does, that's okay. We're still in a pretty decent position here. Let's just take it over again. There comes an Assassin's Trophy. Yes, there is. Okay, let's just look for the land. Looking for the lands right now is a good thing because it thins our deck, which we want. Ooh, game over. We're just gonna say good game, and we're gonna sacrifice his own creature to deal 6 damage to him. So this was the perfect scenario for our deck. So we got to see some really nice interaction here. So tonight seems like pretty much a clean slate. We quested, we didn't have any problems. We climbed the ladder a little bit more. Our newest deck construction had a pretty decent test. So I think we can end the evening here on a positive note. I still have the possibility to go for 2 more rewards. I might do that later on when I'm doing a little experimenting, but I think all in all it was a good night. And see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.